Well, it's actually, and I think we need to make sure note it's
Yeah.
40%. Lease Summit requires 40% open space, not 10%, 40%.
And it's 10% minimum
Passive.
for passive. Yeah.
So I guess to answer staff's question, are we all agreeable that for the two-family, we'll go with Lease Summits and not with Olathes? And then I guess the next question is on open space for the low-density multifamily. Do we want to do the same thing?
I'm sorry, where are you at? Are you on the?
Flip the, you know what, here's the two-family, just flip the page.
Okay, the townhome.
Yeah,
Townhomes.
and we were wanting to go on the open space, the same thing where 50% of it has to be active. Again, this is a lower density, smaller project, it could be infill.
So we can go 40-10?
40-10 for that.
And that does, it does
Passive.
provide more flexibility than the Olathe code. Because you could make it 40% active if you really wanted to.
Sure.
You're just
Or
not-
you can make it all passive.
But you don't have to.
Right. that's right.
But on the medium and the high density, do we want to still stay with a minimum of 40% and then 50% of it's got to be active? Because that, you're talking about a higher density project and you want to provide more amenities to the people who live there.
Clubhouse would be considered as active.
That's a good question. I don't know that a clubhouse would be, because it's usually outdoors.
Well, if you're dancing in there, you'd be active.
Well, a lot of these clubhouses are going to have workout facilities. They're going to have
Right, I'm thinking if
internet facilities. You're going to have your changing rooms. You're going to have maybe
Pool.
a active area, pool table, bar, different things of that nature in there. So,
I just wouldn't define that as open space, though.
Yeah, that's right, that's exactly.
but would be
Yeah.
considered an active
It's a building.
area.
It'd be a building, that's
Yeah.
why it wouldn't count.
Well, here's
I
a.
mean, if you say active space, I don't have a problem with that, but if you're gonna call it active open space, I
Yeah.
think we're,
Well, I guess would that be considered? Well,
well, I
If
don't,
we-
I mean, I
of
can
your
see
40%
it.
of active. I'm just trying to, if to encourage people to do more amenities.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the way to go.
That's what I'm
with-
just looking at.
With an open space requirement. If you look at the EPA definitions of passive versus active recreation, they suggest active recreation or on active open space would be something like baseball, football, soccer, anything that's outside, skateboarding.
Green space.
And then passive, you would have more, we of course would not have hunting. I don't know why that's.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Bizarre.
Horseback riding?
It's my honey pasture out there.
We can build an equestrian, multi-family.
Archaeological exploration.
I like that, the archaeological exploration, we can have.
Green
Area.
space.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I
We're what
first thing I want to
clubhouse-
do is I want to build a soccer field out there. Cheap, easy.
That's active.
You mow it.
Good.
Well, it's the same. Is that what we're wanting to get to? Is
That's all.
I'm gonna build soccer fields throughout a
And most of these facilities you're seeing is some sort of a swimming complex. That's generally what you're gonna see. You might have some tennis courts, might have or a multi-purpose type of court where you've got basketball goals and tennis courts together.
Where would a clubhouse fall though? Where, what would that be?
That would
This
not
is
be,
big.
Well, see,
that would
I-
not be open space,
See-
because that'd be a building.
Well, here's my, I guess I'm gonna make a point. What you're stressing here is summer activities. I actually think that
Hockey's
in the
interesting.
wintertime, a clubhouse would be an active, if there was a workout room, if there was, to me, you're giving people something to do active in the wintertime. So I actually think that clubhouse should be included in,
But it's a building, that's the problem.
It's not, it doesn't, it would fall under active space, it wouldn't fall under active open space.
Because it's a building.
Because it's a building.
yeah, but how's that gonna help, how is that encouraging a developer
And
to
just
do a clubhouse
because you
and a
have a
workout room?
clubhouse doesn't mean it would become an active space.
Well, see, the clubhouse could be the storm shelter room, this community.
There you go,
Yeah.
now you really get carried away.
But most renters are looking for amenities nowadays. For example, a lot of people won't be interested in moving to a larger apartment complex that doesn't have what is considered any of those standard amenities, like a fitness room. Things like internet.
access.
No, I can
Where
consider-
do we have
I
this
don't know
type
what
of
the clubhouse
complex
is.
right now in Blue Springs?
What, say that again, please?
Where do we have this type
Yeah.
of apartment complex right now in Blue Springs?
That has a
I mean, when I
clubhouse?
went over and
The senior
visited
housing has
Arbor
a
Walk,
clubhouse.
Arbor Walk has what you're talking about. You either get a clubhouse, the dead swimming pool right out there in the front, and you have different types of housing all within the same complex. But I can't picture in my, where do we have that here?
The,
I mean, I see a number of the
Heritage Farm.
apartment, the multifamily
Heritage Farm has,
complexes that
Heritage
we
Farm has a
have.
clubhouse.
Heritage Farm.
City Homes.
Heritage Farm, which is across the street from First United Methodist Church.
That was
Senior housing, there's,
Okay,
it
I
is the old
don't
house.
get in there very often,
That's old
so I don't.
farmhouse.
I'm talking about newer. I mean, I know what we have north of 70 Highway over by Sunny Point, Sunnyvale. I know what we have over back off Adams Dairy behind James Walker.
And the Adams Dairy Parkway Apartments have a clubhouse and a small
Yeah, they
pool.
do.
City Homes, which is a new one, newer one that's past, 10 years, it has a clubhouse.
But you go out in Lee Summit, you see those newer apartment complexes, and they have the clubhouse, they have the swimming pool, they have the things you're talking about. They're going to attract a little higher profile type of younger, up and coming type
young
of.
professionals.
Right.
I mean, there isn't an apartment complex that's going to be built anymore that doesn't have a clubhouse.
So you don't think that's something we have to?
Well,
We
I just
have
think
off
that-
of the complex, apartment complex that we have over by the McDonald's that's off of 40 Highway, back in there that's near.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're looking, what,
Yeah.
50 years ago, 40 years ago. that was
No,
built.
that's not that old. The complex that's off, is that Clark Road? What is
Yeah,
it?
that's,
One.
that's City
That's
Homes.
City Homes.
City
Okay,
Homes.
It
that's
has a
City
clubhouse.
Homes. All right. Is there a pool in there?
It has a pool, a hot tub, and then the
So
clubhouse
it has
has
that,
gym and
and that's built within the interior, which quite honestly I like better because it's not, that's one thing that bothered me about Arbor Walk is you're driving around the main street and there's the pool right there. Well, if I have young kids, I
Yeah.
don't want my children out there where somebody can drive by and see I
Sure.
like it more like that, where it is recessed in there. See, I didn't know that was even in there, but to me, that's what
Would be a safety
Now-
feature.
people are gonna want.
I can understand if a clubhouse is part of a
I have no problem
of
calling
apartment
that
complex, if it's
active
part
area.
of it, you would have to consider the whole, I agree with that, but if it's a standalone clubhouse facility, to me, that's an active
I
area.
think it's active.
If you have, well, that's what I'm saying, I don't have any problem saying that's
So
an
can
active.
we
If
include
you're calling
the
it
look
active?
that up. Look
open,
it up.
I just
Clubhouse.
think there's some people gonna struggle with that terminology.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what they
even
want
if
to
you
see.
had an area that, a lot of parks around here, you have a four-sided open, and then it has a roof over it, and then you can have
It
picnics
doesn't,
and
but in the
things
wintertime,
over.
you're not gonna wanna have it open. You're gonna wanna have it.
No, I know what you're, and if you've got that clubhouse where the pool is right off the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's what
you
you-
could probably get away with
Yeah,
calling
you
that
can call it
active.
pool and everything. I mean, that's where people are gonna have the clubhouse next to the pool. But,
Well, if you already said that this is happening in Lee Summit, then there should be examples of it in Lee Summit.
Right. I guess our
Yeah.
question to staff is, we're okay with the 40% open space. We wanna go with Lee Summit standards for open space for the low-density multifamily and for the duplexes. We like Olathes with the 40% with the 50% active. The question that we have for staff for the next 2 weeks is a clubhouse that has a workout room or some sort of amenity.
50% active to me appears like a lot. In terms of when you're talking your open space and that half of that has to be.
Active.
yeah.
And I think a clubhouse is active.
Well, we'll check with the
As
lake
long
and
as you
too to
can
see.
define it in a way that
what
it's
they
not
count.
gonna be something that,
Yeah,
there's
yeah, added,
something
yeah,
that
that's
can't
what they
be.
consider their
Right.
I don't want it to
model
be
development.
Right.
draconian in terms of what we're
clubhouse
asking.
side. I don't think they count their office side, but I think they count the clubhouse
Okay.
side.
No, clubhouse is not counted as
Yeah,
open.
it's gotta be realistic.
I think so, I think
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
But we'll check on what,
What constitutes
yeah,
active
well,
rather
and
than,
how
and
they
where
got.
clubhouses
Well, we'll see how
fall.
they got their 50%.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we need to see. I mean, how
I
do
mean,
they get
if
to
we
their
call 50,
50%?
if it's 50% and we can count a clubhouse as a part of that active space, then to me, that's fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Me too. Because I think a clubhouse is a wonderful amenity, and you don't want to do anything that discourages them from doing clubhouses, because you want a workout room, and you want to just provide amenities for the summertime, you want to have amenities for the winter.
Workout, no, but a gathering place.
But in the reality too, though, they're not